Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Liam Harrison over in the USA. How you doing? What's going on over there?
Good mate. It's tiring. Been here about 6 days, 5 different cities, seminars in all different cities. Uh, Done Jacksonville. Where have I been? Jacksonville, Orlando, Miami, Tampa. I fly to Texas tomorrow. I've got five in Texas. Then I fly to California. Got five more in California, San Diego, LA, all those places. And then I fly back home. Thank God, because I'm going to be absolutely fucked.
In demand. That must be nice, heading into your last fight. I'm sure some fighters wonder what on earth they're going to do, whereas you are packed pretty much. Is that a nice feeling knowing that you don't need to fight?
You know what? I hadn't needed to fight for probably the last 7 or 8 years, to be fair. I do it because I love it. But I've spent many years building these up. So when I do, I spent many years as well building myself up as a coach as well as a fighter. So like when I do finish fighting, at least I have got stuff to take my mind off that itch of wanting to compete and wanting to fight. And although it's going to be hard and horrible, at least I will have other stuff to like occupy my mind and stuff. So like I say, I started doing these seminars probably 15 years ago, so even maybe even a little bit more, like building them up and building them up, building my reputation as a coach up. And I've got all sorts of other things going on. I'm co-owner of the probably biggest gym in UK now as well, so I've got stuff that I want to do with that. I've got my finger in all of the little pies and stuff as well. I've got the promotion, Hitman Fight League. I've got my seminars. I've got my website. I've got a few other little things that I'm working on. And my brain needs to be having loads of stuff going on because as soon as all this stuff like slightly stops, I lose my mind. So I need it 100 mile an hour all the time. That's how I like it. It's like organized chaos inside here. Like there's all sorts going on, but I need it.
So, talk to me about your last fight before we move on to your next fight. I thought it was a nice bit of poetry that you dominated with leg kicks after you'd faced such a nightmare injury from leg kicks. It was kind of a beautiful way to win the belt. What did you think?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's my. I've probably stopped about 25 to 30 people with leg kicks my whole career. That's my style. Everyone knows I'm renowned for it. Hard punches, hard leg kicks. Even after I got injured, I wasn't going to come back and then change my style just because I got injured by. Do you know what? I probably deserved it for all the people I fucking crippled over years with leg kicks. You know what I mean? So I probably got a bit of just desserts when Nongo smashed my knee to pieces. But yeah, no, yeah. What I said I was gonna for my last ever, that was my last ever fight in the UK in the Muay Thai rules. I won't ever fight again. I don't want to be that guy who says to the crowd, "Yeah, buy a ticket. This is my last ever fight." And then I lie to them all and I come back. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do that. I don't want to look like I'm conning people. We build it as my last ever fight in the UK, and it will be. I won't fight under Muay Thai rules again in the UK. So yeah, I'd said to everyone it's going to be like a vintage Liam Harrison performance: hard punches, hard leg kicks. I'm going to fight how I like to fight, and I'm going to entertain everyone with an entertaining fight, and that's where it was. I'm happy with it. The only downside was that his little weird fucking spat that he had afterwards, which was very strange because he was just looking for excuses. But I don't want to give him any airtime and talk about him because that's all he wants afterwards. If he's been trying to just fucking get all eyes on him, which is a very weird, strange thing to do. But yeah, the event itself were amazing. We had some great fights on. We had some really high level guys on there like Damien Alamos and all the UK up and coming guys all performed out of the skin, and it was an incredible night. We had, I think, the biggest crowd in UK Muay Thai history, and it was just a great night, and it's a great way to like end my career there on that. As like I said, I don't think we'll top that, so that's why I don't want to say that I'm going to come back to fight in the UK. I've got two fights left on my one contract. Um, I'd like to do them both, but I'm not putting any pressure on myself. I'm going to take it one fight at a time, see where we're at. I'm looking at guys like Holskin and Sam A and that, and they're still flying. You know what I mean? And they're older than me, and I feel good at the minute. I know if I wanted to, I could fight for another couple of years, but I'm not putting no pressure on myself. I'm just going to see where we're at after this fight.
Well, we know what we're going to get with Soe Lin Oo. That man's head is made of God knows what. What are you expecting
Yeah.
here? And is there a satisfaction that this match has finally been made?
It'll be a good fight. You know what I mean? It's like the styles met fights, and you know what you're going to get from both of us. The guy's an absolute fucking rock, isn't he? He's made out of stone. Um, so yeah, it's going to be a tough fight. I think I've got the skills to beat him comfortably on points, but no one wants to see that. So I'm going to give the fans what they want. I'll just stand there and I'll just swing with him if he wants, because that's what people want and that's what they want to see. And uh, and that's what I would probably enjoy doing to me as well, to be fair. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Real tough fight, tough challenge, real hard man. And I'm looking forward to just getting back in Denver and getting back in the cage and putting the gloves back on, the 4 ounce gloves back on.
Him versus Nabil was almost a bit of a tough watch. He's so hard, but too hard for his own good.
I said this before the fight. I said to everyone, I said he's not going to lay a glove on him. And everyone were like, yeah, he will. He'll knock him out. Or like, he won't. He really will not lay a glove on him. And like you said, it were a good job Nabil just like took his foot off the gas in that, because that could have ended like in a real bad disaster. Like he started in round two, halfway through round two, Nabil like backed up. He was jabbing and teeping and keeping him away. If he really wanted to, he could have done some serious damage to him in that fight. Because, like you said, like he's just so tough. If Nabil would have just kept kneeing him in the head and kneeing him in the head and kneeing him in the head, I don't care how tough you are, you break can only take so much. Do you know what I mean? Um, but yeah, like obviously the guy he's called the man of steel for a reason. He is. Do you know what I mean? And they say he can't be knocked out. I want to try. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? I take that as a challenge. So let's see.
He is unbelievably tough. I think, how many Letway fights has he had? That seemingly he can't be knocked out. But so is leg kicks the way to put him away, do you think?
Do you know, do you know what? Just gonna fight my style. I'm gonna hard punches, hard leg kicks. Do you know what? I might have to be smart in skate stages of that fight, and I might have to get on my bike a bit, and I might have to use my IQ a little bit, which gets overlooked because like my missus goes mental at me all the time, and she always says, "Why the fuck don't you fight like you used to fight when you were younger? You were so technical, and no one could beat you when you fight like that." I went, "Nah, no one wants to see that." Do you know what I mean? So I might have to use. There might have to be phases in that fight where I do have to go back to that style and stuff. But again, I want to do what I enjoy doing. I want it to be fan friendly, and I do want to try and be the first person to knock him out. You know what I mean? That's like a challenge to me. I don't want to get in there and just try win on points. I just want I will go for it. You know what I mean? So it'll be exciting either way. If whoever wins, it'll be exciting for the fans, I believe.
Yeah, well, I think that's why they love you, right? We mentioned Nabil. I was there in Japan. I've got this feeling, judging by his last 7 fights, that is there anybody going to stop him? Like he could reign for years. Do you see it that way?
Yeah, I don't honestly, based on that, what I watched the other day. I don't know. I don't see how anyone could beat him when he fights like that. Like up until his last 3 fights, he was always real awkward and tall and good range, good technique. His last 3 fights, this nasty power's come out of somewhere. Like the snap on his shots now, when he gets you at range and he throws them straight and you hear the crack of it hitting, it's like Jesus Christ. He's got some explosivity and a guy with his frame shouldn't really be able to hit that hard. It's crazy. He's a freak of nature, and like you say, do you know what as well? He seems like a really nice, down to earth kid. He clearly puts in the work. So yeah, I think he will reign for a while. And if anyone is gonna, I'm glad it's him because he does seem like a nice kid. I wrote him off against Nico. I didn't see how he would win that, and then I said afterwards, I said, "Look, I love being proven wrong when it's by someone who's putting in the work, who's putting in the time, who's putting in the hours." And yeah, he's a fair play to him. He seems a real nice, down to earth kid, and he's gonna, like you said, he will be around on that way at the top of that way for a long time, I think. Because
He's
I
got,
spoke to Pete, our nutritionist, because he works with both of us, Pete.
yeah,
He said, yeah, he only walked around about 70, 71 kilos. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's terrifying. Yeah.
that's wild. It's a bright future. He's got his feet on the
Yeah.
ground as well. Superlek, I was interested by what you said because it didn't seem like he was really there. I don't know how hard he trained. And Chatri was saying that he didn't want to fight for the title. I mean, he didn't want a 5 rounder, sorry. He wanted it to be 3 round non-title fight.
Yeah.
What did you make of that whole thing? Because Superlek's one of my favorite fighters of all time. I put him right up there. So he didn't look like I'm used to seeing from him.
So I know a few things that have been going on inside that camp. It's not my place to say. I'm not going to say if they come out, they'll come out. I'm sure they probably will at some point. But I don't believe he should have been fighting. He should have just took a bit of extra time off. I'm not sure if he was just thinking, oh, I had to pull out the Nico fight. I don't want to have to do it again. What if they strip me of the belt? What if my money goes down? I don't know what he was thinking, but he shouldn't have fought. I'm not going to say why. It's not my place to discuss anything like that. But yeah, there was stuff going on behind the closed doors. Um, Whether or not he was 100%, would he have beaten Nabil on that night? I don't know still because Nabil looked incredible. So you can't take anything away from Nabil. But yeah, I want Superlek to go away because he's a friend of mine. I want him to go away, just have a bit of time off, and then get back in the gym and get back to that guy that we love watching. There were no kicks, there were no game plan. There was just like a right punch, and obviously there might be a reason behind this and stuff, but still, he needs to go away, regroup, come back and get back to his best. And if he does, then I think he's the only one who might be able to stop Nabil at that way.
Well, we're going to get to find out, apparently, right? 5 rounds for the title. It's a trilogy. It's going to be a banger. I can't wait. So,
Yeah, it's looking like that. It's looking like Haggerty versus Rodtang again, isn't it? So yeah, if they're both of them are added to the Denver card, geez, what a card that'll be.
yeah, well, it looks that way. I just want to, as we wrap up that topic, Nabil and Superlek, uncharacteristically for both of them, because Nabil, as you say, lovely guy. Superlek doesn't really go in for much, needle. The face-off looked a bit spicy. I don't know if they're annoyed at negotiations or whatever. And now Nabil said, look, I make about a quarter of your money and I can afford to get myself a proper nutritionist, which I thought was a bit shots fired from Nabil. What did you make of that? Why
It's
doesn't he
fair
hire
though, isn't
Pete
it?
again?
Listen, it's like I said, Superlet's my friend, but that's fair. It's a fair comment. Why? There's no. If you don't think you're going to do it, then don't fight. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I had a go at Rodtang not long back, and Rodtang fell out with me over it. But I only said it because he needed saying. He was turning up overweight. He was being unprofessional. He was going on interviews saying, "Yeah, I don't train for fights anymore." What sort of message is that sending to the young fighters who are looking up to him and stuff like that? And they shouldn't be saying stuff like that. And when you're the champion of an organization like one, I said yesterday, you have an obligation to yourself, the company, the fans, all the people who look up to you. All eyes are on you. You have to turn up on weight, in shape, and then perform. That's your moral obligation for. It's what comes with the territory. You can't just turn up out of shape, not make weight 4 or 5 times, and say you don't train for fights, and then expect not to have some flat back. And Rodtang fell out with me over that, and I only said it because it needed saying, and like I were hoping that someone would get hold of him, like Pete, which he did. And look what he can do when he does train. Look what he did at the weekend. He turned up shredded, strong as fuck, like a bull. And look what he did. That's what we want to see, and that's why I said what I said, because as a fighter, I thought he were a bit disrespectful as well. That he's the highest paid fighter on the planet, and he was just turning up, missing weight, out of shape. There's fighters who are as good as him, I believe, are on one championship who would kill for that purse. Do you know what I mean? And they would all turn up on weight. Guys like Contorani and people like that. He's a killer. He's just as I have him just as good as Rodtang. And he's probably on 15, 20 times less. And there's guys like him turning up on weight every time and stuff. So it's a bit of a slap in the face to other fighters when there's guys doing that. But look what he can do when he does turn up fit and sharp and on weight. He just fucking blitz tackle like he wasn't even there. It was like he wasn't even there. He just walked straight through him. He walked through his shots and just knocked him spark out. And that's what we want from Rodtang, which is why I said it. We want to see that guy. That's the guy who we all love to watch, and that's the guy who is worthy of being the highest paid fighter on the planet, not the guy who just turns up missing weight by 5 pounds and then puts in a lackluster performance and wins on points against people who aren't really as good as him. We want to see the animal let loose, and I think when you match him with people who he gets a bit worried about, like he turned up sharp as fuck against Superlek, he didn't miss weight, he turned up sharp as fuck against Tucker, who didn't make weight. That's what needs to happen. I think he just needs matching with those guys where it gets him thinking, right, I need to train here. Whereas you match him with people who are lesser opponents, he just turns up, he misses weight, he's not too bothered. He ends up winning on points and he don't really try. He don't really have to get out of first or second gear. We want the animals, so you have to match him with other animals.
Well, he's saying all
That's
the
my
right
two.
things.
That's my 2 cents anyway.
I'm glad I asked. I mean, you're the man to ask, and you've spoken your mind throughout your career. I think that's another reason. It's not just how you fight, but I think fans respond to that. But Rodtang too, he has an X factor, he has an aura. Fans respond to that, and he's saying all the right things. He said, it was a bad place, and now he's Rodtang 2.0 basically. And Haggerty
Yeah.
stands in front of him, a man who I'm sure will bring out the best of him again. But they've gone back and forth. I don't know, very recently before this interview, and Rodtang says, "If you want me to fight you, put your belt on the line." and Haggerty said not this time. So what do you make of that? What weight
Oh,
class is this
did
going to
he?
be?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. Oh, so well, I just assumed they were going to fight at 145 for the kickboxing title, and I just assumed that. Makes it a bit interesting. Then, if it's not at one, is it going to be Muay Thai rules? Is it going to be a catch
I
weight?
think Chatri said in the presser, and again, I don't know anything. That's why I'm intrigued because I was trying to figure it out because Rodtang going up there, I'm not sure about that. And now John going down, I'm not sure about that either. So I thought, is this a
And
catch weight
so the
non-title fight or what?
the thing is as well. So obviously, I was asking Pete all week what Rodtang's weight was 'cause I were interested, and he was saying he's walking around at 62, 63, hardly had any weight to lose. I was with John briefly at my my big opening day at the new gym last week. And when I was talking to him, I remember looking at him thinking, fuck me, he's massive here. What weight? He must have been 73, 74. And Rod Tang's walking around at 63. It's a massive difference. So if they just fight at 145, Rod, uh, John is going to be so much bigger than him. But yeah, it's a crazy one. Me personally, I'd prefer to see John fight Nabil for Thai boxing title. Superlek go back down to 135 because that's where he belongs, and fight Rodtang in a 5 round rematch. Both of them get on board with Pete, condition nutrition. Let him make them both make weight easily and get them 5 rounds because that first fight were unbelievable and it were only 3 rounds. And we've been saying we've been promised a rematch by Shatri and the one team for a long time now, and it's never even coming close. But yeah, it depends. Superlek might be saying, right, get me the Nabil fight at 145, and Rodtang moving up to 145. But then, if that's the case, someone has to. Contorani has to fight for the belt at 135 then, because that belt, the 135 kickboxing belt, is being held hostage because Superlek's just moved up. So that needs vacating because he ain't going to go back down and defend that if he's busy at 145. And someone needs to fight for the 135 Muay Thai belt. And then there's guys like Contorani, Jasu Yai's just been signed. He's class. Yeah, so let them guys fight for that. Let them get the accolade there because it's open and there's no need to be held hostage with it. And if Rodtang is moving up to 145, then I don't see why it wouldn't be for the kickboxing title unless they are going to fight Muay Thai rules.
Well, Chatri, that is one thing I recall him saying. He said they're going to be fighting in Muay Thai, which
Oh, okay, yeah, there. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Like 145, it's a big jump, isn't it? When he's just comfortably made. The thing is, you can't ever write him off though, because again, he's just made a stone, isn't he? And
well, reading between the lines, it looks like catch weight in Denver in Muay Thai. That's not a
okay,
title, not for a title.
okay. Well, catch weight, I'm guessing it's going to be between 140, 143 ish or something like that. Um,
But I've no
yeah, I
idea.
still,
I've
I
no
still
idea.
think, I still think John's going to be so much bigger than him though. But yeah, you can't ever write Rodtang off, can you? And he knows he can get to John and hurt him, but John was a lot smaller frame and a lot more. He didn't have the power that he's got now and stuff. It'll be interesting.
Can I have a quick reaction from you before I let you go? Because I know we're getting on. So, but there were some big storylines. Noiri, Tawanchai, another one of my absolute favorite fighters of the modern era. Noiri stepped up big time, and I think it'll go down as a legendary moment. What did you make of it?
I really like Noiri. Me and him fought years ago in Japan, and I've always been close and friendly with him. So I was happy for him that he won that fight because I honestly thought I thought Tawanchai had just cruised to a point win, and it was looking that's how it was going to go. I've seen Tawanchai get knocked out in kickboxing before when he fought in China a couple of years ago, and I don't think it quite suits his style. I think he's much better under the Muay Thai rule set. To be fair, um, however, that was an incredible win for Noiri because Tawanchai has looked great recently and he's been on a great winning streak. So for him to pull that out the bag, especially after how badly he started in one, because he lost quite convincingly to City Chai, and that wasn't even a close fight really. And then his second fight, he just lost to some unknown Chinese guy who no one knew. And I'm like, hey, this is not the Noiri we know. Like, what's going on here? This guy were a killer, and he's just and then he came back, he snapped that guy's leg in half, and now he's just had one of the biggest wins of his career. So yeah, I'm happy for him because he is a good guy and he's a nice guy and he's a killer when he's on that form as well.
And I think it's now opened things up a little bit because him versus Superbon is a really interesting fight in kickboxing. Whether
Yes.
we've seen Tawanchai Superbon, right? And I
Yeah.
think Koyate Bampara Koyate might take on Tawanchai in Muay Thai. So it's all kind of interesting.
So the thing is with that, that's just been announced, Danny, for like 6 weeks' time.
I,
Surely he's not going to. That's going to have to be pushed back if
I've
that's
heard
right.
that's
Because
not accurate that date.
fair dues. Yeah, I'm going to say it can't be right to get KO'd and then fight again 6 weeks later in 4 ounce gloves. That wouldn't be.
Yeah. What's next for Takeru? Is that somebody who's ever been mooted for you? I mean, his big name, right?
Yeah, no, I hate kickboxing rules. I've fought it a couple of times. I've fought it 3 times. I've won one. Because I actually won a world title in kickboxing, and then I fought twice, and I lost both times. And the last time I fought it was against Noiri, and that was like that was a long time ago because yeah, he need me in iron, cut me really bad, and I got stopped with a cut, and I just thought, yeah, I'm not doing this. I don't like it. So it's not something I'm interested in. But if Takaru, people are saying his punch resistance has gone, to be fair, he got dropped by the Myanmar
Tanzin.
guy, didn't he? And then he got knocked spark out. So if people are, I don't watch enough of him to know his fights to know whether his punch resistance has gone or not. Um, but to be honest, Rodtang isn't really renowned for knocking people out with one shot, is he? He's not a one punch KO artist. So if it is going, maybe it's all them crazy sparring videos you always see of him. Do you know what I mean? It's stuff like that is not healthy for you. So that could be to do with it. So if he does feel his punch resistance is going, and if that is true, then I think it'd only be fair to have another big show in Japan, get the main event as Noiri versus Superbon, and then let him fight as the co-main. Bit of an easier fight. Let him if he's thinking about retiring, a bit of an easier fight. Let him say goodbye that way. But if he is going to stick around, I think he has to stop these fucking crazy sparring sessions and stop taking all his brain trauma because
Hard
it
to
can't
watch.
be good for it. I watch it all the time. I'm like looking away at my camera like that. I'm thinking, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, it's
It's
not
literally a fight, and they're only in that little box room that they lock themselves in. They've got a little box room that they lock. It's like fucking fight to death or something. It's crazy.
mad. Is anybody trying to rope you into beating up any YouTubers? Are you going to get a payday in celebrity boxing at some point?
No comment. No
Okay.
comment. I've had a few little carrots dangled in front of me. We'll see. It'll be fun to do some stuff like that. It'll scratch the itch to compete when I do retire. But like I said, one fight at a time, and we'll see where we're at just after this next fight.
Mate, always love interviewing you. Thank you so much for your time. Harrison versus Soe Lin Oo, Ball Arena, Denver. Going to be fireworks. You know what's going to happen. So, maximum respect. Thank you, mate. All the best.